With you today about dimensional realities, and this is a video I've wanted to make for quite some time, but I keep putting it off. You know how you procrastinate on certain things. So today I wanted to go through the dimensional realities in a very simplistic way, and the reason for this is I find a lot of people are actually getting a lot of knowledge and it's really good, but the foundation is missing. So sometimes they don't actually fully understand or fully operate off the knowledge that they've received. And it's like if you teach mathematics to a 5-year-old and then suddenly the next day you start teaching them an 18-year-old's mathematics, it won't make sense to them. But actually going through the maths throughout the years, you gradually build on that information and that ability so that it all makes sense and becomes natural. So that's what I'd like to do with you today. I'd like to discuss dimensional realities. At the moment on planet Earth, we have 5 dimensions. The first dimension is matter. Look, I'm just doing this simply. I'm not making it complicated or anything like that. So I really don't need any people who are physicists writing to me saying, oh, you know, you need to put in this complex system in order to explain it. I'm explaining it exactly the way I understand it in its very simplistic form. The first dimension is matter. The second dimension is emotional. The third dimension is mental. The fourth dimension is energetic or psychic, and these 4 dimensions have duality operating within them. The 5th dimension is unity consciousness, and that has triality or unity consciousness operating within it. 5th dimension is moving onto planet Earth as we speak. So people are beginning to understand that they are more connected than they realize. They're starting to understand that what happens in Africa hits Australia or America. They're starting to realize that men and women are not enemies of each other, nor are the animals or the plants. That's why you've got such a big movement into veganism or vegetarianism, because people are starting to realize that we're all interconnected, and the pain that we cause our animals is the very pain that we're ingesting ourselves. So it's very important to understand that these dimensional dimensions have planes of existence, and those planes of existence are like waves. So the second dimension has a plane of existence. So it has a physical plane, it has an emotional plane. It's mostly emotional, so it's where most animals exist and reside, in the second dimension, because they're very telepathic, they're very intuitive, they're very emotional, they go off their feelings. That's why we feel so good when we're around animals and we allow them to love us, because it's that emotional part of ourselves that's being fulfilled at that time. So that's how animals communicate and operate with each other and how they interact with us. On the emotions, the instincts, the intuition. Yeah? And again, they have 2 sides. Then you have the third dimension, was the mental dimension. That's the biggest dimension in operation on planet Earth at the moment, but it has a physical component, an emotional component, a mental component, and an energetic component, meaning when we moved into third dimension and man started creating more and more things with his mind, we started to create things like telephones, aeroplanes, cars. You know, we brought about some incredible phenomenon onto planet Earth, but it all was connected through cords or wires, and it has an amazing function. It's really helped the planet to move forward. I'm not negating it at all. But what we did was we started to think that that was the almighty dimension, and we gave it a lot of energy and we existed within it for thousands of years. So of course it has a lot of what you would call collective consciousness co-creating realities. So a lot of realities were created when we moved into the mental dimension of 3D. And that's been extremely important, and it's very important to understand the function of the mind, how it stores information, how it has different aspects of it. But it's also important to understand that there's something a little bit more advanced than the mind happening on the planet. And of course, we can all say, well, if science hasn't proved it, then it's not real. It's not good. That's not necessarily true, because a mother's intuition knows more than science at the best of times. And it's through going up into or reaching into that higher aspect of yourself, let's say the fourth and the fifth dimension, that we actually get inspired to create things that haven't been on planet Earth before. So although 3D has given us incredible opportunities and movement and lifestyle, it's not the end, and it's not the be-all and end-all of everything. But as I said, each dimension has planes of existence. So if we look in 3D, we have all these different waves that make frequencies travel. So you have radio waves, solar waves, microwaves. You have the waves that help you to receive images on your computer or your television, your mobile phone, all of this. That actually really increased when we moved into 4D, which was in 1987. So with each dimension that gets grounded on planet Earth, new waves of communication, of healing and energy are brought down into the reality, and what stops them is the mental plane of resistance. Because some people would say, oh, well, if we do it like this, we're going to lose money over here. We'll lose our power. We'll lose our control over here. So let's not think about that. Let's not let that come into reality. Let's hold that off. Even though we know it's good for mankind, but we'll just hold it off. And sometimes they use very unethical means to hold it off, but I'm actually not going into that subject today. So if you can understand that each dimensional reality has its theme. So in the fourth dimension, when that came in 1987, people started to understand that energy existed. So you had more people getting into healing, getting into alternatives, understanding the auric system, understanding that, let's say, homeopathics became more broadly accepted. Then, because a new radio wave or frequency started to operate within the fourth, we became digital. So we went from analog to digital, and we started to be able to send information without these wires, which freed the world up. The internet was created, your laptop computer, the iPhone, all of these things became available to us because the amount of energy and information that is within that energy frequency was available to us. So people started to get ideas and concepts and inspirations and inventions and bringing them down into the physical. Now in 2012, the fifth dimension became activated, just like in 1987 with the fourth. And because there is duality in the dimensions prior to that, there is conflict with the fifth being accepted. And so in order to continue, because the mind really needs to, or 3D is really battling to keep control of itself, to be maintained, it's creating more and more separation. So at the moment, we're seeing a great separation between dark and light. So you've got people who've got very strong opinions at the moment. You have, the light is being shined on all of the discrepancies with regards to wealth distribution. We're seeing that we have donated billions, well probably trillions over the years, to world hunger, and yet it still exists in bigger forms. We now have it in Australia. We now have the Smith family asking for donations to sponsor a child in Australia. Never seen before, but now we have it. How is that possible? How is it possible that trillions have gone to charities, yet these very situations these charities are saying they're healing, they're fixing, are worse? And I would put to you that the reason that is so is because there is a great power on the earth called 3D that wishes to maintain its status quo. So as long as it can keep division and separation, it gets to survive. Now, I understand that it grows great deeper than that. However, for this conversation, I'm just putting it simply. Each dimension has planes of existence in which information is stored. And that information, or that collective consciousness, or your thoughts, or your feelings, create the reality in which you live. So you get bombarded by images that provoke feelings to lock in a reality to keep maintaining 3D and 4D, so that people who believe they have power and profit can continue their reign. And this may sound a little bit far-fetched to you, but look at the quality of your life at the moment. Has it improved or has it decreased? Look at the people around you. Look at what's happening on your planet. So if you really want to go into 5D, you have to leave duality to the side. And you need to go into unity consciousness. But unity consciousness starts with you. So it's about you becoming one with your body, your mind, and your soul. It's about you understanding all the aspects of you and how powerful you are to create the reality that you desire. And 3D and 4D keeps bombarding you with the fact that you're not creating the reality that you desire. That something outside of you is preventing you from doing that. Now, we'll make another video on that concept actually, because I feel it's quite important at the moment to understand why you're having a hard time bringing into manifestation what it is you desire. So at the moment, if you can just come into the consciousness of each each dimension has planes of existence which create realities in which we all choose to live in because we're all thinking the same. And the reason we're thinking the same is because we are being educated to believe that to be true. So I'm going to leave that with you, and I'm going to continue making some more videos just to let you know what's going on and how you can manifest and create the world that you desire to truly live in harmony. If you'd like to know more about me, you can go to my website, lovelightandtruth.com, and please subscribe to these videos so that I can continue producing them. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.